Вот мы с вами сидим 7 днями в автосимуляторе. А дает ли он какой-то опыт? Или это все-таки всего лишь игрушка? В этот раз я хочу в качестве примера привести Алан Хайнза. Почти весь свой опыт он набрал в R-Factor 2. Сейчас тренируется в Ассето-Корсе. Место действия будет последний этап Drift Games, где он на практике разбивает свою машину. И ситуация усугублялась тем, что он боролся за лидерство в этом чемпионате. Ему на помощь пришел Дуэйн Маккивер. Он сказал: без проблем, бери мою машину и едь. То есть до этого он на этой машине не ездил никогда. Это будет его самая первая попытка. И давайте посмотрим, поглядим, что из этого вышло.
Let's take a look. Well, they take off the start line. As you can see, it is Dwayne McKeever's car represented here. A big flick into the first corner, first of the wall runs, and then it's a big on the power pull through second zone. That's the most dangerous part of the track. Then they are on throttle, mid-track here. A little bit of managing of the brake, trying not to go too fast, and building this arc all the way up to the roundabout. This is the most difficult part of the track. They got to go at 90 degrees, slow the car down dramatically as they come through that outer zone, transition back to the outside of the track again, and this is the pull home, which is just as scary as the way in, as they now head back out to those walls again. And this zone right here at the end, this is where it make or break. Get to the wall, keep yourself out of the wall. Me, that's in like 95, hitting walls is great.
It had the wow factor.
And look at this, I cannot believe what I'm seeing here from the off. Alan Hines is sitting in Dwayne McKeever's European drift car, which has to run tomorrow to fight for James Dean's championship. And he's here today in a first lap in a car he's never driven before to try and get himself into qualifying. And look at the entry onto the wall from Hines, as Alan Hines goes right to the wall on his first ever lap in this car. He's never driven an RB, he's never driven this chassis, and he's never driven with this steering. So it's all brand new for Alan Hines, but he drops off the track, barely keeps two wheels on it, as he tries to learn this car in one lap on one of the most dangerous tracks in the history of Irish drifting. But a very nervous Dwayne McKeever sitting somewhere in the grandstand saying, go out there and don't let the championship be lost in qualifying. And what a run from Alan Hines. Talent all day.
You know what, Dave? In the past, we have lied and said that this is the first run that this person has ever done in this car, whereas they may have done a practice one. He has never, ever driven that car before. That is phenomenal, and I think...
The worst thing is, if he keeps going, Dwayne has to watch this all day, so that's the worst thing. Yet the car keeps going back out for battles. I mean, I have to say, a hero of Irish drifting announced today, and Dwayne McKeever, once again, if he's not already a hero, of course he is, but to give his car away on a weekend like this...
And an 88.7 second position for Alan Hines in a car he's never driven before. Fourth position in qualifying, he'd be looking happy with that now. Alan Hines, he wowed us in this borrowed car from Dwayne McKeever. Dwayne McKeever returning all the good fortune that he's received from other drivers over the years. An 88.7 on the first run. Will he go easy this time around, or will he try and learn the car a little bit more and bring it to the wall? Well, no prizes for guessing what Alan Hines will do. Straight on it, straight into the walls, and he's hunting for that top spot. Qualifying, of course, could be crucial here, Dave, when it's all said and done at the end of the day between Alan Hines and Jack Shannon. Just bogs down a little bit too much there.
Yeah, they just stalled up completely on the gear change, I think, coming out of the hairpin there, Eddie, and it's definitely not going to match his first run in terms of consistency. But again, if you can get it done in your first run in the borrowed car, why not? And the car does survive both runs. I'm sure Dwayne McKeever is going to have a very nervy day watching on as Alan Hines does make it through to top 32. I don't think that's going to trouble Conor Shanahan at the top or improve on his first run.
I think James Dean will be looking on at this and saying, my two closest rivals in the Drift Masters competition are using their cars today and tomorrow. So second position for Alan Hines is where he's going to stay.
Well, here we go. You can see O'Loughlin warming up the tyres on the front of that incredible... That is one of my most favourite cars in Ireland. Just look at it, Eddie.
I know. I mean, it's
and
literally...
it's always immaculate.
All the time. Even after it's been destroyed into a wall, he finds a way of making it look
at that
immaculate.
car.
It is near perfection. But you know what? I think he'd trade everything on that car for a spot on the podium. And if he can just take down this man in front of him, Alan Hines, well then he'll have an insane opportunity to do that. Hines to lead them in, and we know how capable this car is now because we've seen it all across Europe, dominating, and it's fighting for a championship, and now it's fighting for another championship on Irish soil here in the hands of Alan Hines, as Alan Hines looks to lay down that perfect lead run and find flaw with Alan O'Loughlin, but Alan O'Loughlin starts to just fall back here. Can he find some ground here as he goes very shallow into the roundabout section just to try and close that gap Hines said in the past he doesn't have the machinery. Now he has the machinery at his disposal, and he's proving that he's more than capable of putting on a show as he just puts foot to floor, and O'Loughlin has no answer for the speed and grip of Hines in the lead position.
Well, look at that, Eddie. Absolutely incredible for Alan Hines right there. And you know what? It's been said in the past. Alan Hines has said it himself, as you mentioned. He hasn't got, you know, the most amazing tool to use at this championship. You know, he lacks a sequential gearbox. He lacks that quick change windlass rear end, and the lightweight car with a highly sprung 2JZ engine. He gets in that car, you know, RB under the bonnet, absolutely screaming, sequential gearbox, windlass quick change, the best machine, you know, possibly available to him. And it just goes to prove that what a man he could be in a similar chassis.
Well, the problem for him is that after this, he's got to go back and get into that S14.
He's going to say, well, this is me working overtime now for the next couple of months as they fire down O'Loughlin into the outside zone. And rightly so, Alan Hines gives him some room to manoeuvre now. Borrowed car, he starts to feel it out a little bit, makes a good transition back into the middle of the circuit. Looks at that front clipping point. Now Alan Hines pops the wheel up onto the curb, shallows up again, balances that car onto the side of Alan O'Loughlin as O'Loughlin's going to come in very shallow into the middle of the roundabout. Absolutely makes a hash of the cones as Alan Hines gives him some room to manoeuvre. They transition back. Hines, a little wobble there, Eddie, but stays in it now as Alan O'Loughlin will be feeling on the ropes right now as Alan Hines gets up onto the door, starts to rein in that proximity. They transition back for the final outer zone. And Alan O'Loughlin pushes cones around with him as Hines dives once again up onto the side, and across the line they go.
You know what? I think we could have been facing, looking down the barrel of a one more time there, you know, considering the really strong line that O'Loughlin had up until the fact that he just completely gets it all wrong going into the roundabout, hits all the cones, takes the cones all the way with him. Hines made a few mistakes. He was a little bit shallow. He did find the proximity, but then has a straighten. But was that caused by the poor line from O'Loughlin leading into the roundabout? I mean, it was a tricky one, but I think at moments at the start of it, O'Loughlin could have been saying to himself, I'm in this, I'm back in it. But he's completely closed the door on himself.
Yeah, look, well, decisions in. Simon left for Alan O'Loughlin, Sladden right for Alan Hines. 1, 2, and 3 votes for Alan Hines. Alan Hines advances through, and we throw it to the judges.
Between Alan Hines and Harry Kerr. And this is interesting. Alan Hines in a borrowed car from Dwayne McKeever. Harry Kerr getting a little bit more horsepower now that it's a little bit damp out there. Two youngsters in the game who've come through. 15-year-old Harry Kerr came second in the Drift Games Nationals. Third, my mistake, in the Drift Games Nationals. And here's two machines that you never thought you'd see against each other with these drivers behind. It's just, you don't know what's happening anymore. Alan Hines in Dwayne McKeever's car against Harry Kerr in his own car. Harry Kerr gives away the horsepower. Alan Hines, though, can he go full hog here if he's in a borrowed car? Well, it looks like he is going in very fast to that first corner and going very wide to clipping zone 2, but staying a little bit. Harry Kerr is right on the middle of the track here. And look at the smoke starting to create from Alan Hines' car.
Yeah, very similar lead line from Alan Hines as to what we saw him do in his last battle, which was deep into the wall in the first zone, but then moving off that just a little bit to eliminate some of the danger in the second zone. He pulls a big gap on Harry Kerr, but now Harry Kerr getting back into it and finding some pace. But are the errors that he made on entry too great to try and come back from here as Alan Hines takes it deep enough into the walls, Dave, to be doing just a relatively good job in the chase position. I think covering all angles from that regard, keeping the car safe while still being on a reasonably decent lead line.
Well, Harry Kerr had to sacrifice quite a bit there to stay with the faster car. He did a pretty good job, but yeah, he's got some mistakes now, against him. And I think, with Alan Hines in the chase position, he's got that little bit of pace in that car. He's starting to feel it out every single run, the limits of that car. And if you've looked at Dwayne McKeever driving before, there's not too many limits in that car. So let's see what happens as they come off the line. Hines still fighting for the championship, even though he's in a borrowed car. He is now looking for a spot in the top 8. He's chasing in Harry Kerr very close into that first corner. Kerr coming in very fast and very wide here. But they both back out of the wall, and Kerr almost takes the front end off Alan Hines there as they transition messy through the first section there. Hines not getting any proximity here as that little BMW starts to grow some legs, but Harry Kerr's coming way too fast and off the track, and it looks like this will hand it to Hines, and Hines will move through to the top 8. It looked like an unforced error there. Harry Kerr going way too fast and just to slow that BMW down. So I think that is going to be a win for Alan Hines and moving him through to the top 8 where he wants to be to fight for this championship. He's still in the mix. And Jack Shanahan still has a battle to go in the top 16. And with the way things are going today, anything can happen.
I feel an RB engine transplant in that S14 of Alan Hines.
Yeah, Alan Hines starting to enjoy things there, but it wasn't a
You know what, he
perfect
could
2
have very
runs
easily
either.
said, you know, I'm going to spare the car there. I've won the run, and no, he goes full throttle now to make it official. Alan Hines gets the win. No surprises there. He moves on into the Grade 8.
Yeah, we move it
Shanahan
along.
into the Final Four. The dream of an all-Shanahan final still alive.
Yeah, we keep this one going. We move along out to the next battle of the day. Alan Hines to take on Paul McCarthy. I was standing as a fan at the side of the track watching McCarthy battle Shea Rogers, and the bumper off over the wall. Incredible stuff. Alan Hines, though, in that borrowed car from Dwayne McKeever, he looks incredible. The machinery is fine-tuned. It's working to its limit. And you know what? Alan Hines looks like he's been one with that car all year. And this is the first time he's drove it. They come off the line. It'll be Hines to lead out McCarthy. McCarthy knows that he needs to take down Hines right now if he's going to get on the podium. And look at the big dive up to the door. Oh, wow! Look! Alan Hines, he puts big angle at it on the transition. Now McCarthy takes a step back, has to re-evaluate the situation as he makes another dive up onto the side of that borrowed car. Alan Hines puts the throttle down, starts to use the grip dialed into that car as he gets into the roundabout, squeezes the accelerator one more time. Absolutely perfectly executed by Alan Hines. Jumps back onto that qualifying line. McCarthy hanging on by a thread right now. Can he stick it to the side of that 180SX one more time as Alan Hines fires into that final outer zone, puts it to the wall and across the line, and that is how it's done.
You know what, Alan Hines, expert in the lead position, and I was going to say if I had had the time before that run started that McCarthy was a dangerous man right now. He was like a bitten dog who just hadn't seen the best of him, but he was finding a way to win every battle. But he did not have an answer for the grip and the speed and the line of Alan Hines in the lead position. And I think Dwayne McKeever may have a tough job getting this car back off Alan Hines because he's enjoying himself right now.
Do you know what? I'd be very surprised if Dwayne McKeever ever sees his car again after this weekend. Right, they're back on the line. It will be Hines now to chase down McCarthy. The grip's in the car, the pace in the car. Alan Hines is feeling at one with the car. McCarthy says, this is it, I have to do it right now. They come through the gears, down the hill, and look at this from Alan Hines. He gets onto the back bumper of that E36 BMW, and a good initiation from McCarthy as he gets nice and close to the wall, comes out of it, good mid-track transition, but there is the dive. Now, Alan Hines starts to rein him in. He needs to find the side of that BMW. If he's going to make the kill, he's certainly go for it. As he gets onto the limit, flames popping from the back of that S13, almost to straighten, but Hines manages to keep their car on hardly any angle. They transition out of the roundabout, now start to smash up through the gears once again, regaining their wheel speed, trying to pull their way back to the finish line. A big mistake from McCarthy as he wobbles on transition, and look at Hines right with him as he jumps up onto the door and almost makes contact across the line. Eddie, wow.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think despite some aspects of the run being really good from McCarthy, I just don't think he had the machinery to work with this weekend, and I think that's going to be reflected in the result. Alan Hines has become so comfortable, and I think he's the man to beat here this weekend, albeit in a borrowed car. Decision is in. Is it McCarthy? Is it Alan Hines? Kieran Hines says Alan Hines. Kevin and Dan follow suit. Alan Hines moving into the Final Four.
In terms of the fact that every emotion has been out there on the track from all these drivers, and here we go, Hines and Shanahan, the two men that have fought it out for the championship all year. Jack has taken that championship mathematically now by moving on to the top four, but Alan Hines would love to put one over on him on the last round.
Yeah, well, I think if he could take anything from the event, it would be that trophy and that little piece of gold to bring home, and 2 wins out of 5 rounds in you know, the first ever Drift Games Extreme Championship, I think would be a lot for Alan Hines to take from the campaign. But he's got to overcome Jack Shanahan, and you know what? Don't let whatever's going on in the pits fool you. This guy, when he comes back out on circuit, no matter what way that car is running, will be giving it absolutely 100. But here we go, ready on the start line. Hines is the highest qualifier. He has looked so at home in this 180SX, borrowed from Dwayne McKeever earlier on this morning. He's been in the walls, he's been in the wars, but here he comes. Can he go to the final? Can he take down the champion of 2019? Here comes Alan Hines, and here comes Jack Shanahan. They fire it into the first corner. Hines off that wall in that second zone. They almost make contact as they transition through the midsection of the circuit. Here comes Shanahan, breathing down the neck of Alan Hines as he just fires that car onto the door. Oh, but Shanahan makes a huge mistake, gets bogged down and just gets caught out as the gap opens up now. And they put foot to floor, smoke appearing as the track starts to dry out. Here comes Alan Hines bringing it to the wall. Shanahan just not able to get that proximity through the final sections. And you know what? 2 injured calves, Dave.
I was just about to say we could have a situation if it I mean it looks like a disadvantage to Jack Shanahan on that first run. Look at the proximity he pulls to Alan Hines here on this transition. Boom, right there. But it's in the roundabout, and that could be the tie rod issue he's having. He hops up on the curb there, and I'm wondering, does that unsettle the car in some way or loosen something? Because when he comes in here, he can't get the car off lock. It just goes on full lock, and he has to drive straight out of the roundabout. That's a massive mistake for Jack Shanahan. I think that is steering issues that, of course, he'll be able to fix for the fight in the European Championship tomorrow. And Dwayne McKeever's car somewhat is still alive on the track, but Dwayne McKeever's car has had almost the longest day of anyone's car today. It's done practice with Dwayne, and it's done Alan qualifying, and now it's all the way into halfway through this final 4 battle. If Hines goes to the final, he will face John O'Hare, and Conor Shanahan will take 3rd, and Jack Shanahan will take the championship. That's kind of how it's standing, but what can happen here as Alan Hines now can't take major risks as he goes in behind Jack Shannon's GT86 as they come through the gears, and Hines takes a big risk on initiation, getting very close, and Shannon's going very wide. Is that car steering correctly? He has no 5-minute rules remaining. He has to drive it as is, and it's not. Eddie, it looks like that car is all over the place in the lead position. As Shannon is just holding on right now. And Hines, look at this again. Shannon getting stuck on lock again, and it looks like it's all over. Hines looks like he stays in it, but it looks like Shannon again has a big issue at the roundabout. The drama is building here at this event, and what started as a wet and wild top 32 with about 400 crashes, now we're getting more drama again. It might have been the cleanest runs all day, but you couldn't take your eyes off it. The dramatics on track is ridiculous. And I think that looks to me like Alan Hines is going to go to the final and fight it out with John O'Hare for top step on the podium. It looks like Jack Shanahan will then lose out to Conor Shanahan in 3rd place, but take home the championship. Everyone's getting a trophy. You get one, you get one, you get one. Trophies for everybody. Even you, Eddie, can take a trophy home today the way things are going.
Well, you know, look, I mean, where do you even start with it? And I think, you know, I do want to turn back to the first run, and I think while we're watching the replay here, very respectful of Alan Hines. Every single run he has done, he's kept that car off the second outer zone, and I don't think that is anything due to not being able to get it there. It is down to not risking the car and not putting the car at risk. And you know what? He's managed to fight his way to a final 4, potentially a final, by just minding a car that doesn't belong to him and just overcoming every obstacle. But you can see the 2 drivers having a quick, you know, throwing the arms up in the air. They're not too sure as to, they'll know they've both made some mistakes. And we do have a decision. Who's going through to the final? Is it going to be Shanahan? Is it going to be Alan Hines? Kieran Hines, Kevin and Dan making unanimous. Going to the final is Alan Hines! Is willing to lend his car, but he has won championships in borrowed cars, and I think, you know, a nice gesture. Here we go though, the final. Alan Hines to take on John O'Hare.
Well, I think John O'Hare has less to lose here because, in fairness, he didn't expect to be here. Alan Hines has, you know, Dwayne McKeever's fist ready if anything happens in this.
He certainly has less hair to lose, that's for sure.
Yeah. And I think, like, Alan Hines going, I can't really wreck the car. I mean, I've got my trophy. I mean, I've got this far. He actually rang the tower looking for cars, looking for anyone to give him a car, and nobody had a car in the country to give Alan Hines except the man going for the championship in Europe tomorrow. That is how much Dwayne McKeever wanted to see Alan Hines get a fair fight. He's been in the position before. Dwayne McKeever has borrowed many a car to stay in a championship. He knows what that feeling is like. And when the shoe is on the other foot, he stood up this morning and said, take my car, it's ready to go. And Dwayne McKeever's car is there, but it's Alan Hines behind the wheel, going up against John O'Hare.
It's the magnitude of the moment, the scene, or the story to do that. I think it's just an absolute credit to him, but we are good. Here is the final. Thumbs up, here we are. Alan Hines to take on John O'Hare. They leave the line, slam through the gears, 3rd, 4th. 80 miles an hour sideways onto the wall. Here comes John O'Hare. He's not backing down. Alan Hines keeping off those walls, keeping that car safe. He's going to have to do it without going to the wall. Oh, but he
Alan Hines shuts down.
Alan Hines shuts down. 10-0 advantage. John O'Hare.
It's the last battle of our era, and this was what happens. You know what? You couldn't script this stuff. Incredible. Alan Hines shuts the car down, gets out of the car. There's a problem with the car. He doesn't know what's happened, and it looks like John O'Hare will take a 10-0 advantage, and if Alan Hines cannot get this car working again, I'm not sure what has happened. John O'Hare, the underdog, the outsider, the man no one gave a hope in hell of getting this far, may just show that in Irish drifting, Alan Hines is out. Alan Hines is retired. John O'Hare has won the last ever Drift Games event, and John O'Hare has won it. John O'Hare has taken it. Alan Hines has broken the differential and said there is no way he can fix the back end of that car. I'm getting confirmation on this. You can see Alan And Alan says he doesn't know because it's not his car. He doesn't know if he can fix it. That's the problem. Well, I'll tell you what, you couldn't write this championship. You really couldn't write this championship right now. Guys, round of applause for John O'Hare and Alan Hines. Let's see what happens as they have a quick chat there. Alan Hines gave it a valiant effort. Will it be second place for him and first for John O'Hare? I honestly don't know if you could write this champ. So I'm not too sure.
Yeah, let's take a moment here.
So hold on a minute.
Call a 5-minute
so
rule.
Alan Hines originally says he's out, but he doesn't know if he's the parts. And now Dwayne McKeever is running over saying we might be able to fix this.
Кстати, заметьте то, что Алан из-за того, что ниже, чем Дуэйн, ему еле хватает длины ног, чтобы выжать сцепление. Так что посадка у него тоже была не из лучших.
Is a pass of the circuit away from being the event winner. Cap locks on WOW.
Yeah, so Alan Hines now it says the differential in the car seems to be a differential problem. John O'Hare is out of the car checking over there. Now, we've announced that John O'Hare has won this. Again, we may have jumped the gun a little bit here because Alan Hines said, I don't know if I can call a 5-minute rule. So he didn't say no, it was miscommunication with the marshals. He said he doesn't know if he has the parts to fix it. It's not his car. He doesn't know what parts he has. So John O'Hare now is going to have a conversation over there. Let's see what we can do.
So there you go. Alan Hines sits in the car. We wait to hear confirmation as to what exactly is going on. So it looks as though we may have Nathan Black down on the track. In fact, Nathan, are you down there? Can you tell us what's going on?
We're fine. It's like scrappage hunters. What is this? John O'Hare, we found some on the floor.
That's the end of the prop shaft. That's not good.
That's the end of the prop shaft, and that is not good. But let me just get this right, because I am in a world of confusion. Well, just when I thought I'd figured it out, you called a 5-minute rule so that Alan could go and try and have this.
Ну, я думаю, вы все уже и так поняли, что произошло. В финале Алан немного раздухарился и начал, как в автосимуляторе, использовать технику езды на тормозе. Если посмотрим повтор, можно увидеть, как от передних колес идет дым. Это означает, что он одновременно жмет газ и левой ногой жмет на тормоз. Трансмиссия реального автомобиля, в отличие от автомобиля в автосимуляторе, имеет предел прочности. Это в автосимуляторе может делать что угодно, и машине как бы особо ничего не будет. В этом случае сдался кардан, который просто не выдержал такой адской нагрузки. Это также один из причин, почему я не использую тормоза. Потому что трансмиссия так испытывает немаленькие нагрузки. И использование тормозов явно не облегчает жизнь трансмиссии. Ну, это все равно, что ехать на велосипеде и с зажатыми тормозами. Много ли так приедете?
And the winner of DGX Ride 5 here in Mondello Park, ladies and gentlemen, there it is! Oh, what do we touch? We have a hug. Come on, you've earned that. Incredible stuff. And here, is that too hot to touch? Can I touch that? It's a bit warm there. Nope, can't touch it. Bit warm. This is the culprit here. I don't know how happy Dwayne's going to be or not going to be. You got stronger hands than me, that's all, as I softened it up for you. I think we're going to hand over to the commish who's making his way down. The man that makes it all happen. Because we got some announcements. I'm being told we are handing back over to the commish. Dave, take on, because I ain't got nothing more to say.
Yeah, so John O'Hare does take the victory here.
Также можно было увидеть эффект от так желаемой развесовки 50/50, где Шанахана развернула аж 2 раза подряд. Хотя Сикс, у которого весь вес сосредоточен в передней части, сзади у него только маслобак и бензобак находится, не испытывал никаких проблем со стабильностью. Ну и напоследок, подводя итог, можно ли тренироваться в автосимуляторе? Конечно, можно. Подтверждению этому служит этот подиум. 2 из них в основном тренируются в автосимуляторах. Обоих вы можете встретить в Ассето-Корсе. Как Алана, так и Конора. Конор тоже, кстати, сошел по технической неисправности. Если бы не техническая неисправность, он бы также, скорее всего, вышел бы в финал. И в финале бы тогда сразились бы два автосимуляторщика. Алан тоже, по сути, отдал победу из-за технической поломки, которую в большей части вызвал сам. Конор же занял первое место в квалификации. Напоследок я ее вставлю. Тут Конору 16 лет. Так, к слову.
This weekend in his European car is Conor Shanahan.
Yes.
Looking for a top 5 finish in the championship this year after the first 2 rounds not really registering a whole lot. He is a big player here in the championship race right now. The youngster, just 16 years of 15 years of age. I think he's 16 years of age
16 now, yeah.
16. And look at
Blew
this
the
entry
gearbox
from
in this car earlier on, Dave, and was unsure as to whether or not you get back out, but the team have got it sorted. And Conor Shanahan, he's taken his first ever pro competition win on Irish soil in this championship season, and he will be feeling the confidence that that brings. And he's coming forward here this weekend. Watched him in practice yesterday, and he looked very comfortable out on the circuit. And why not? 16 years of age, Red Bull athlete, and tagging the wall. Oh, sweet Jesus, I believe I heard from one of the judges there.
That's the right phrase for that, because he came at that last wall at about 60 miles an hour. Very, very fast. Amazing run from Conor Shanahan in the first half of qualifying. Remember, things are heating up as we go to the second half of qualifying after our championship leader, Jack Shanahan, and Alan Hines. I don't even know where Alan Hines is right now. Does he have a car right now? Is he borrowing Dwayne McKeever's car? That was the rumors we had heard. Was Dwayne McKeever really going to give him his car to put on the line this? I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's the question. I mean, we've only heard that through the marshals.
Yeah,
we don't even know if it's true. Quite frankly, I won't believe it till I see it.
I hope it's true, because Alan Hines has no car, and Dwayne McKeever put up a post. And there, look at this, a 91.7 for Conor Shanahan. Goes top of qualifying by a long shot. And the thing about it, say, is Alan Hines, second run putting him into the top 10, or top 13 rather. Next up, Conor Shanahan. He was sitting top. He's still sitting top. Will he still stay there by the end of qualifying? Well, can he improve on a 91.7? So what does he do next? Well, we're about to find out. Conor Shanahan hits the track to see if he can improve on a 91. A very aggressive entry. Wow!
Oh, look at that, Dave. I mean, takes the rear lights, if they were in fact real rear lights, off the rear bumper, and he's coming for it again. Pinpoint accuracy, fills that inner clipping zone as he comes down. Can he slow the car down? Carrying a lot of pace into the roundabout. Drops a couple of wheels, but makes it work. Nice and smooth through there and get back in the power. You can just hear him feathering the throttle as he uses every last bit of power in that 500 brake horsepower.
Wow, to the wall again goes Conor Shanahan. Incredible stuff, and a 360 across the line from the youngster at just 16 years of age, and that's how you put a score on the board. He may have dropped a wheel off the track towards the roundabout. I don't know if it's going to hurt his score.
I don't think
massively.
the judges have been too heavy there. And
the first wall runs were insane.
I was going to ask, Dave, how do you improve on a 91.7 on this particular track? Unfortunately, that's not how, but it was pretty close to doing so. An 88.3, I don't see that being beaten today. I don't see anybody topping Conor Shanahan.
Ах да, что касается Алана, так как он победил в полуфинале Джека Шанахана, он сохранил лидерство в чемпионате и стал победителем.